This is Eric Rattan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
Welcome to the show, one and all. I have a conversation featuring Richie Cavalera from the group Incite to share with you. The catalyst for the chat with Richie is due to the launch of a new album from Incite titled Wake Up Dead. It is out there now. For those unfamiliar, yes indeed, that surname is familiar. Richie's father is Max Cavalera, his mother is Gloria Cavalera, rock and metal, extreme metal royalty, just there, although the rock and metal thing does fit as well, if you broaden the horizons. This conversation, of course, features some banter about Wake Up Dead, but I think you're going to find it interesting for other reasons, and I won't spoil the surprise. I'll let you dive into the chat and discover it as it unfolds. Before we get to the conversation, if you are listening via any one of the podcast apps out there, I'm going to share a tune from Wake Up Dead. This one is titled War Soup, and it does feature Max Cavalera. If you've tuned in via YouTube, we're going to cut to the chat right now. So here's War Soup. If you're listening via the podcast app, otherwise, let's cut to the chat if you've tuned in via YouTube. Let's go. Richie, can hear you.
What's up, dude?
How's things, mate? How's the Zoomers been going?
Oh, dude, it's awesome. It's like the greatest thing ever made for interviews and everything. I stand. Everything else is cool. All right, I think I broke it.
All good.
All right, whatever. Hands free, no more.
Hands free.
What's
no
up,
more.
dude?
Oh, mate, just it's Good Friday here, mate. So just had some prawns and oysters and stuff, and just went to church this morning. We're not, massively into, doing a lot of the Christian related stuff, mate. But we go twice a year, mate. Easter and Christmas.
No worries, mate. No judging, man. Everybody's allowed to do whatever they feel is right, man. Totally cool. Happy Easter to all y'all and all the metalheads out there.
Indeed, mate. Yeah. How have the conversations been going for this album here, though? Have you had interesting questions? In other words, intelligent questions, trying to get to the bottom of things with you?
Oh, definitely. It's been, more focused on the album and the band, which is cool. Kind of been through all of the history of who I am and what I've done and who I am. So it's cool to have this record kind of speak in volumes for itself, and the band getting the praise that I feel it deserves.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I bet you get that a lot though, with people just wanting to focus on the surname and the association, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's totally cool to me because carrying on a legacy that big is it's a big responsibility as well as a privilege that I'm insanely humbled by and honored to be a part of, and to keep the name in metal, for hopefully another 20, 30 years is awesome, man. I'm stoked about it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, look, we do have this opportunity to connect based on Wake Up Dead. Love the album title, by the way. And I went back when I got the album, I thought I'm going to go back and listen to some of your other material as well. So I spent some time doing that just so as I could catch up on what you've been doing. And nice. I feel as though it's a linear and very logical progression, that is Wake Up Dead, from where the band's earlier recordings started. So say Divided We Fail. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And, that's been the thing with us. We want to make every record great and better than the last, just continually growing and being better musicians as we get older, so I think that's what we wanted to show people, like, hey, we've been around a while. We got some badass stuff that you may not even know about. So here's kind of like a refresher of that on top of here's the new style. Here's what we are. And here's what we're more focused on. Changing guitar players was a big thing. The last two records had, down tuning and, wasn't what me, Lennon and L really strived for, and Wake Up Dead was finally kind of returning to that Up in Hell, Slaughter, but 10 times better and more grown up and more effective, and that's what I think this record is.
Well, mission accomplished. There's no doubt about that. And,
thanks, man.
Look, I'll tell you what, one thing that I noticed where I must say I feel as though it's a huge leap is through the production, because the grinding death thrash that you guys do, it really suffers. I still don't understand why. Bands seem to go one of two ways. They go the shitty underground 80s thing, or they go the Metallica Death Magnetic thing, which both are garbage. But who did you work with in the production? Because as I say, you really nailed it.
This was Steve Evans, and now this was his third record with us. So I think that as well is something that we've grown with, because I think when you hear, Oppression to Built to Destroy to now this, it's gotten better production-wise from our performances being better. He everything he does is organic. Nothing is copy pasted. Nothing is done that way. And we've grown together. We've reached a point where we're hitting stride. And like you said, the production is just incredible on this album. It has such a dynamic, fresh, not overproduced, not underproduced, just kind of like just meant for how metal should feel and sound.
No, I agree. Have other people picked up on that the production is perfect for what you guys are trying to achieve?
Yeah, and the big thing I've heard a lot is it's finally kind of captured the live essence and energy that we bring. I think we've struggled with getting that to adapt into a record, and I think this one totally captures that, just energy. And yeah, people are really complimenting, the vocal sound and the drum work and the guitar leads and just everything, man. It's exciting to feel that, you work for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, what about the lyrical themes this time around? I mean, God knows you've had a lot. We've all had a lot going on, but in the States in particular, with the political climate and what I'm going to say, suffered through, courtesy of your bloody media. Did any of that stuff make the lyrics this time around?
This was more focused kind of on my personal life. I went through, I think everybody went through their own personal hell, but mine, to me, was it got dark and hard, and I wasn't sure if I was going to come out the other end, losing music and, my marriage, collapsing, my life, everything that I'd known was just up in the air. So I had a lot to say on this record. And I think, Deadbeat is kind of the look at how I felt after, 6 months of quarantine and, mental destruction, just overwhelmed with everything. And then you have, Fuck With Me. That was kind of like where I was beginning to find my strength again and realize who I am, what I am. So this record, I think, is very relatable to everybody, man, with what we have all been through. It has a little bit of everything. Bullying, with War Soup and, just a lot of topics that really were personal and hit home in my own life.
Yep, fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic from the perspective that you're able to articulate your emotions and express them in a way that is meaningful through your music. And it's not as easy as what it sounds, is it, when you actually go to put pen to paper or what have you and try to fit them in with the cadence of the beat of the music?
For sure. And I've always had this pressure on me to feel like I had to write lyrics and stuff a certain way, things like The Slaughter, like I'm Here to Kill You, more metal topics like these things where we're just like these crazy ass dudes that like go around killing people. But it's, now it's like growing up and being able to articulate your words better and just being yourself, more than anything, not giving a shit really at the end of the day what anybody thinks, just doing what you feel is right and is real to you. Because now it's like when I sing these, it's so much anger that and rage and happiness that comes out in them. It's a trip, to find that in your later years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Now, the cover art too, I was impressed, very impressed. Got a bit of an Ed Repka feel to it. Is that something you were going for?
With us, the covers have always been super important. I think me and Elle specifically, we grew up looking at covers and not knowing bands, and we just buy them based off of that. So for us, it was a big thing to have a great cover. From Dan Seagrave to Andrei Buzikov to Brian Zellner now, who did this. It just captures everything about this record in a visual sense. The zombie out of the ground is like the rebirth and, the reintroduction of this band to the world. The pot leaf shirt, the Arizona rattlesnakes and cactus and shit. And yeah, we just, it spoke to us very well. And, Brian Zellner brought that, like you say, that very artistic, comic look to it, which I just love, man. The colors are great.
The colours are fantastic, and look, I haven't checked, but but the merch game must be pretty strong this time around with the t-shirts and stuff. Have you had some pretty good pre-sales on that?
Yeah, man. We've got some really cool designs. We made a crazy shirt for War Soup, actually, and it's army men in a bowl of soup with rotten vegetables and all this shit going on. So we're excited, man. Merch is one thing we love to do, and we've always had unique shirts, and we only print limited quantities of every design. So it's sought after stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Max. Now, Max does appear on the album here, and your material is very different to Igor's, I must say, your brother's. But and he appeared on the Go Ahead and Die album as well, of course. But is it, you've got, dare I say it, you've got a little bit more experience than Igor with this business and with writing and the like, because of course you're older. Do you tell Max what to do when he comes into these situations, and what does he bring to your music?
Oh, that was one of my favorite parts. You know, I've always kind of been on his songs and all this kind of different experiences where it's, you know, him bossing me around. And now it was like, you know, sitting down with him and be like, hey, this is how we want you to sing it. This is where we want you to sing it. And that was cool, you know, because just not even him being like my father, just him being a musical legend, you know, to have on your record, to have him in the studio with us and creating this killer song, you know, and we had it all done ready for him to go. So he just had to come in and lay down the Chaos AD style vocals that, you know, we were really wanting from him, you know, and it brought a unique structure and words that he doesn't really say, you know, a lot. So it's a cool Max vibe on an Incite album, and people are digging that song, man. And you know, we could have you know, left the elephant out of the room, but to us, it's like I say, it's something we've learned to grow with and respect and love, that it's a part of our band in a sense, you know, and no reason to fight it. You know, let's just rock, make cool shit for metalheads and let people enjoy it.
I absolutely agree on that point. It's a linear point that I'll make on this one here, so it's not in the same quadrant as what you might be dealing with. But Jason Newsted, for example, when he went out and toured with his Newsted band, didn't play any Metallica songs. Now, he did write a few Metallica songs. They're out there. But it's like he disowned something that he had a very strong association with. And that's my point there with you, is that you're embracing something that you have a very strong association with, but you're doing it in your own way.
Yeah. And I think throughout the years, you know, we did our thing. We went on our tours. We created this band, you know, on our own. And then, you know, once it became a time where it was like, you know, people respect this band for what it's done, who the members are, the love that they have for us. They see what we've done and the hard work we put in. So now we like I say, we've grown up to a place of embracing it and making cool things out of it, you know, rather than not creating something as badass as War Soup, you know?
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Now, look, you were credited on the Nail Bomb album, and I don't even think you were 10 years of age back then. And I think you're credited with Guitar Noise or something like that. And people of my vintage in their 40s had a lot of love for that album, as you're probably aware. You know, us, wouldn't call us older, but, you know, approaching middle age sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, what do you have any memories of being around the studio when Max is recording that album, and indeed the birthing process?
Oh, for sure. I mean, him and Alex wrote that like my sister's bedroom, you know, when I was like 8 or 9. And I remember, you know, samplers and floppy disk everywhere. And it was crazy, you know. And one day, you know, they pop in, they're just like, hey, come to the studio. We got something cool for you to do. And, you know, I was really big into guitar when I first, you know, delved into music. So they brought me in and I just untuned the guitar and unwound those strings, man, and just went ape shit on it. And it was something I'll never forget, because then, you know, it led to playing at the Dynamo with them. Yeah. And, you know, that DVD becoming such like a cult classic and, you know, metal, that being a part of it was so rad. And, you know, that was really my first recording. You know, prior to that, I had done like playing guitar on stage during Policia with Sepultura, you know, but that was really the first major thing where it was like people were like, yo, dude, your little thing's awesome. You know, being 9 years old, it's fucking rad to have music be that much of my life, you know.
It's probably the coolest story I reckon a 9-year-old can probably have. Hey, I played on the Nail Bomb album. There's not a lot of other stories out there like that.
Pretty legendary, man. I've had a very awesome, grateful, cool life for sure. I can't complain, man.
What was the vibe like? Because you're right, that 2005 performance, that Dynamo performance is pretty much standalone, isn't it? Given that Nail Bomb doesn't perform very often, and you had a big part in that performance there. Yeah. But what was the vibe like? Was it nervous energy, or was it just a sense of, hey guys, we love doing this, let's go?
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, you had, you know, 120,000 people, and you had so many bands. And at that time, Music Man camaraderie, it was incredible. Every band was friends, and it was a brotherhood, you know, from Machine Head and Fear Factory to Neurosis and, you know, just all these bands, Biohazard. You know, we were just hanging out with everybody. When you see that video, you see all the people on the sides of the stage and all the artists that take part in it. It was a special time in music, and I think it lost its way for a while, and it's kind of coming back now where you're having that brotherhood of bands and you're not so worried about genre splitting and just really enjoying what we all do together, and that's create music. And the bigger it gets for everybody, the bigger, it gets worldwide and so on and so forth. So hopefully we get back to that kind of vibe, man, because it was special.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you on that point there. Yeah, I do feel it is coming back into that too. In the 5 or so years that I've been doing the podcasting, you can feel that sense of, especially through COVID, because we are all in it together. Even from me as a journalist to the bands to the touring companies and the like, we all have a role to play to bring the music together, because this is one of the few things that you can do that truly revolves around your passion. People do it and they make barely any money out of it. Or that it's hard to make a living out of it, isn't it? It's a tough grind, meaning the touring schedules and the like, you can't really lead a normal life. So you wouldn't do this unless you loved it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you make money on tours and you don't on some, that's the kind of level that we're at, but we love it. We cherish it. And if you didn't love it before COVID and, you haven't found that love again, then you're in the wrong business. Cause the ones that loved it and lost it, it's a grateful thing to feel it again.
Mm-hmm. Gloria, highly respected figure within the music industry, a manager, indeed a force of nature in so many ways. What's the best? Yeah. What's the best piece of advice that she's given you?
Oh Jesus! Endless advice. She has created so many paths in music for so many people, and the opportunities she's given, and the humbleness, and I can't thank her enough. I think the big thing that I've always taken away from her is just, having fun. She always stresses that, no matter what you're doing, how hard this thing gets, have fun, because that's what you ultimately get into being an artist for, is that enjoyment, that happiness that it brings. And it can get lost amongst all the stress and the shit that comes with being in a band. So I appreciate that from her a lot. And, just watching her daily, seeing her drive, her commitment to heavy music and its continued success, it's incredible.
I tend to agree. I won't ask you to speak for her, but I hope she releases a book sometime soon. I know she did that blog thing for a while there, but she's got to have a book somewhere on the horizon.
Yeah, she keeps speaking about it coming out after she's dead, but I want it to be when she's alive, because it's incredible the things she's been a part of. Since 1983, from Atrophy and Sacred Right to owning the first metal bar in Arizona where Poison played, and Rob Halford was a regular guest, and Jason Newsted was discovered. She's been just a part of so much of it, man. It's incredible, and I respect her dearly.
Yep. No, it's lovely, mate. It's lovely. And thanks for answering the question, by the way. I know talking about your parents can be, it's one of those things, isn't it? But I appreciate that you've given me an answer on that one. And look, something else too. You've had an opportunity to experience a lot and you've done a lot, but if you could single something that's been your greatest challenge that you've had to rise to meet, what do you think that would be? Getting this album out.
We've been through a lot of shit as a band, but there were times, last summer where I didn't think this thing would come out or see the light of day. And, I had personal battles going on. We had record labels being changed and management being changed and so many things happening that it got overwhelming. And, it was supposed to come out in July and then November and then March and then finally April. So, I've never had an album like that and face all those challenges and difficulties, but I think now that it's out, it's one of the most humbling and greatest accomplishments this band's ever had to this point, and I think it's going to bring a lot of new goals and dreams that we've had,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It should hopefully find It's not about a new audience, but expand your audience. People who are already into this sort of music and stuff who may not be aware of the band and get you some new people that way. But that point around the label is a really interesting one because I've watched with interest over the past 2 or 3 years or thereabouts, however long it's been. Marcus has been doing his thing from Nuclear Blast, now with Atomic Fire. You guys are on Atomic Fire. There aren't many bands signed there, which means that he's taking a fairly highly selective approach to who he brings on board. So what sort of conversations, or what can you share about the conversations that you had with him?
Oh, man, incredible. He was given the CD by our manager, Dez, and, he was just like, holy shit, how have I never heard of this band? He was just really blown away. And, he let us know, he's like, my goal is to make this band known and be big for all these incredible albums they have. And, that was just like, holy shit, this guy's done so much for metal. And to say that about us was absolutely surreal. So, we felt his passion for the band and his team that he put together. And then, being on a roster with Meshuggah and Opeth and, it blows my mind. We've been on the smallest labels that have existed, so we've never had bands or any of this press or anything like this. So it's cool to see after all these years, working hard and having something like this find us, man. It's a dream come true and a blessing.
I mentioned Marcus, but also Des, to your point there. He doesn't, excuse my language, he does not fuck around, that bloke. I've spoken to him a couple of times, I think, and he's just so impressed me, I've got to say, and with his approach and his vigor and his attention. And he gave me the full story about the Coal Chamber thing, about the guys wanting to get drunk at midday when they had a show at 10 p.m. He just doesn't tolerate fools, that bloke. So what's how did your relationship with him come about?
I've known him since 98 Ozfest, I think, was the first time I met him. And I was young, and I would always go on the side of the stage and watch them every night. And, my family and Des' family, we just all connected, and we've been very close throughout the last to 2015, he took Incite on tour with Devil Driver, and he just became like a mentor to me in so many ways, talking to me after shows and, letting me have advice about things and telling me how to run myself in a lot smarter ways. It just kind of began to snowball into a really cool relationship, and we kept in touch. And then finally, it was just like we wanted to make changes everywhere. So management was kind of first thing. And, I called him and he's like, man, I'm fucking stoked you called me. He's like, we don't really fuck with just straight metal bands, but, he's like, I've always loved you and what this band has done. And, he heard the new record and was just fucking blown away and, just got going. He brought Marcus on board and, got us with TKO International Booking, which is going to do big things for us. And, it's just really snowballed. And that dude's, like you said, he doesn't take no shit. He fucking does not fuck around. He is a legend. And I'm so lucky to have someone like that, another person that's so great, giving advice. And, you always wonder how these big bands make it. And it's having a team that just clicks and locks in at the right time, man. And that's exactly like what it feels now, him, Atomic Fire, all this shit. It's just, it's crazy, when it just kind of all goes together.
Mate, it sounds like as though you've been through I'm sorry to hear that your marriage ended there, but I mean, you've got so much to look forward to.
All right.
So much to look forward to here with what's going on. I mean, everything that you just said then resonates so much. I mean, I'm someone who understands the significance of these people that are in your life and what they can do for you. But the other side of the equation is because they don't fuck around, you've got to work hard, and you clearly do work hard. So the opportunity is there, but only if you want to take it and work your ass off. So, mate, it's a mad congratulations to you on that front.
Thank you so much, man. And yeah, we all go through crazy life shit, and you got to grow and learn and become better from it. And that's what I've focused on doing. And yeah, that's what music allows me to have, that sense of release, a family, brotherhood, support, all that stuff, man. So yeah, I'm very lucky, man. It's fucking rocking.
Mate, I'll make this my last question for you. I always try to keep it about Australia or something to do with Australia here, and I keep it fairly simple.
Cool.
I'm sure you've travelled here before, but have you toured here before?
So we toured down there in 2010 with City of Fire. and Soulfly. Actually, we went as their entire crew. You know, it was the only way we could get there. And we have not been able to get there since. And, you know, I'm hoping now with Atomic Fire and Dez and all this stuff that it's going to happen, because my drummer and my bass player have been in this band for 10 years and they just missed that tour. So they're dying to come play there. I'm dying to come play there. You know, I've been there so many times with Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy and all these things, but Incite, man, come on, promoters, come on, bands, let's go. Incite in the house.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think your sort of metal is, we're attuned to your sort of metal. I hope the numbers reflect that when you're looking at streaming numbers and some of the merch pre-orders and that sort of thing, because, we'd love to see you down here, mate.
We would too, man. Like I said, Atomic Fire is making the album known down there for the first time probably in our history. So I'm expecting us to be there, man. No doubt.
Well, mate, that'll do for me. Thanks so much for the conversation. You know, good luck with everything. It just sounds like everything's going in just such a wonderful direction for you. Congratulations again on that front. And God bless and everything else.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you spreading the word, taking this time, and enjoy the family and the holidays, man. We all need it.
Will do, bro. No worries at all.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bless you, brother.
Thank you, mate. No worries. Cheers. Catch you
later.
So there he is, ladies and gents, Richie Cavalera from the group Incite. I hope you enjoyed listening to that chat as much as I enjoyed participating in it. I especially found that information there toward the end about working with Dez and Marcus Steiger, who is the fellow who started Nuclear Blast, who's now gone on to a new venture called Atomic Fire. I have talked about that label on many of the podcast episodes that have been published. So yes, another episode done and dusted. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you don't know, I'm sure you do. I have a book out there, Scars and Guitars, Volume 1, Conversations from the World of Heavy Metal and Rock Heavy Metal and Beyond. You can go to my website, scarsandguitars.com, follow the prompts. It's very simple if you want to go to a marketplace like Amazon or Google or Apple and download a sample. Try before you buy, if you like. Unbelievably, the print editions, I didn't print up too many, I must say, because it costs a fortune to do that, but they all went pretty much within 24 hours of me posting somewhere available. So I've got to try and find a cheaper publisher. It might have an impact on the quality of the product, meaning the book might not be as well presented as the one that I got printed up just now, but what have you, everybody seems to, not everybody, but many people seem to want the print edition. I'll see what I can do there. So that's it for another episode. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast series. Until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.